Well, good evening, everybody
Hey,
who's joining us on a
everybody.
Wednesday night. Usually start with it's Monday.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. It's not Monday.
Hump day.
Yeah, hump day. Thanks for
We
joining
just
us.
totally dated ourselves.
Yeah, right. Mike. Thanks for joining us on a Wednesday night. You know, with Labor Day and traveling.
Wow.
It's Wednesday. It's not Monday.
Do you have our video up somewhere? This is gonna get super weird here in a second.
Thanks for joining us on a Wednesday night. You know, with Labor Day. I have no idea what's going on.
Do you have Twitter open?
I do, but I'm not watching our
So
stuff.
it doesn't sound like y'all can hear it, but we can hear ourselves back. So I appreciate everybody being patient with us because like we're listening to ourselves right now, which is very disconcerting. So anyway, we're live. This is happening. Welcome to everybody to Let's Talk Lorcana on a Wednesday. It's still happening. You should
Technical
find it.
difficulties on a Wednesday. Well, let's yeah, I don't know. If you can hear us echoing, let us know. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep driving on.
Because I can hear it in the.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we'll just get going. We're bringing some guests. We'll try to fix the technical issues on our end, but, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, Wednesday night. Thanks for joining us. It's been an exciting week. We thank you all for being patient with us as we moved it to Wednesday. This is kind of a one-time thing. We don't do it terribly often, but it was a busy week. It was our daughter's first birthday this weekend, so we traveled for that. And now, say again?
I have allergies.
And Aaron has allergies. And yeah, and so we had to slide it. And thanks all for joining in. We tried to avoid Lorcana After Dark and all that. But yeah, but it's a really exciting episode. We're very, very, very excited you all are joining us tonight. There's a few folks, a few returning guests, a few people who've been on the channel quite a bit. And then we've got a brand new guest who we've been dying to talk to for ages. I mean, all of these people are celebrities in the Lorcana world. But one person's never been on the show and I'm really excited to talk to him, and I'll introduce him in a moment. But first, I want to bring in our co-host for the evening. Really excited to welcome back for, I'm told, her sixth time now.
Ooh.
Sixth. Sarah, aka Lorcana Librarian. Hey, Sarah.
Hello. I brought a co-host with me this time.
Oh,
little
awesome.
Oswald here.
Aww. Very on brand. Very on brand.
I love that we're getting an Oswald card soon. So I was he's got to be in on the hype.
Yeah, I'm super jazzed. Yeah, we've only seen one card from the next set.
Well, they had the lineup at D23.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get rid of our echo.
We literally can't hear you, Sarah.
Oh,
unfortunately,
no.
Liam really needs to sit down and
audio time.
Yeah, you need to fix the audio problem.
On my end, there's a really loud hissing.
You're good, Sarah.
Don't know if that's happening for other people too. So
yeah, it's very strange. Wait, can you hear yourself?
I can hear myself, but because I have receiver headphones.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah. I can hear you. The hissing's gone. Hello.
Okay, I'm gonna let y'all figure this out. Sadly, I am not able to stay for this week's show. I have a big day job deadline tomorrow morning. So
adulting.
But I'm so glad that you're here to help Liam.
Yes.
But yeah. Thanks.
All right. Well, I'm going to figure out this audio. We're going to bring in other guests. This is exciting. So, Sarah, we're going to talk more with you later because you've got a lot of projects going on. You've got a podcast to talk about, a brand new one, which I'm really excited to chat with you about. But our other guests, we have limited time with them, so we're going to bring them in first. First, I want to welcome our other returning guest to the show from Team Labyrinth, fresh off, a very good performance at Charlie's 10K. It is Kendall Berett. Kendall, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. Other than the audio issues, everything is splendid.
Apparently, we sound fine to people, so I'm gonna roll with that.
That's good. It's just on my end. I'm gonna have to concentrate and lip read very hard because I got my volume way down now. But Kendall, I'm super excited to talk to you about your Charlie show and the meta and all that. Great performance there. I enjoyed following it, as I enjoy following all of your exploits on Twitter.
Yeah, I try to keep people updated on tournaments. Yeah. Good or not, I guess.
Well, it's always nice seeing, if you're not following Kendall on Twitter, A, you should, because he does awesome giveaways. And B, it's really fun following your tournament format because you post your deck list and then each round, like your matchups and what you did each round, and it's great.
Yeah, I try to at least do it like each round, and then like follow up with just maybe have it all in one post as well. That way people can get an idea of what the matchups maybe play out to be or whatever. But yeah, Charlie's was fun. It was a good time. This is the third like large tournament that they've hosted. It was unfortunate there wasn't a stream this time, but maybe for the next one there will be. I know that a lot of people were asking for it, so he's local to me and receptive of feedback. I think we'll really try to push for it. The last time I think the 20 lore team came out, they just weren't really available around this time, so maybe if we can figure out like a local solution for the next one.
I appreciate that you kept us updated on Twitter since we didn't have a live stream to watch, so that's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I think DeCandio did the same as well. DeCandio was there. A few other people, I guess that people might follow. But yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah. It was my favorite update from you and DeCandio, where when you played each other and each posted a picture of the other one, and I got a huge kick out of that.
Yeah, it was really I was getting ready. I was super excited. I was feeling really good in top 4 because I felt pretty favored in being on the play, and I was like, oh, I'll just get to play DeCandio in the finals again and post another picture, but no, sadly not.
Yeah, close. But you finished 4th, right? Good finish.
Yeah. Yeah, 4th. I think it was like 186 people or something like that.
What was surprising for you there? Any big surprises?
Well, after the first day, I guess 2 things. One, I didn't play a mirror match all day. That's like probably the first tournament where I haven't played against Ruby Amethyst. The second thing is afterwards, like later that night, I guess someone compiled all the deck list and posted them. I was shocked that like Ruby Amethyst was the 3rd most played, and that Amber Steel was almost like a third of the room. Like it was, yeah, like almost twice as many decks were Amber Steel. I mean, it kind of made sense because like if you just walked around the tables, you saw songs, Amber Steel song everywhere. But I think the Ruby Amethyst being the 3rd most played was probably surprising to me.
I'm surprised too. It's convinced me to convert. I picked up my last Naveen last night at my local, so I'm gonna try it out and give some Amber Steel some love and sway away from Sapphire Steel. It's hard as it is, but I feel like it's very similar, right? You're just singing instead of ramping. I don't know. There's princesses. That's cute, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
I do want to get somebody else's take on the meta here, and I do want to dive more into Charlie's because it's the first big like set 5 tournament other than the one in Sweden from this weekend.
Yeah, there was one I believe there was one going on in Sweden as well.
Yeah. But I really want to bring in our other guest because it's 3 a.m. in Germany.
Ooh.
But I'm super excited to welcome the show for the first time, the first qualifier for both the European and North American Championships. It's Dinh Hang Pham. Bam. Hey. Oh no, I don't think we can hear you.
You muted?
Yeah, sometimes it's the audio. It's fun audio. Sometimes it's the audio selection and the settings at the bottom there. Yeah, so work on that. But no, super excited to welcome Dinh. If you haven't been following his journey, competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player, came over to Lorcana and just kicking some butt. Hey, we got you.
Yay!
Okay.
On audio anyway. Okay. There we go. Perfect. We're just talking about your journey here. Saying if people haven't been following you, they should. You've placed, I think you've got 3 qualifying finishes now, right? In Lorcana challenges.
Yes, exactly. I played 4 DLCs. My standings were, let me think, 75th in Bochum. Then I was 14th, I think. Give me a sec. 14th at Fort Worth, and then 6th in Bologna, and then 5th in Toronto.
Yeah.
Wow.
I follow it right here on your Twitter feed. Yeah, another content creator everybody should follow. I love your cat with your golden Mickey here. That's just
Cat and mouse, perfect.
oh,
Yeah,
I
exactly. He
didn't
catched
even
it.
see
Yes.
that. No, that's so fun. So thanks so much for joining us, despite the fact that it's 3 a.m. in Germany.
Yeah, I'm super tired, but it's fine.
Dedication
Yeah.
to the
Well, I know
community. I like it.
we won't keep you too long. I know Kendall has to go at an hour, and we'll let you go about the same time. But super
Yeah,
excited
sure.
to chat with you for a bit. What are your thoughts? We were talking about the Charlie's meta here because it's like one of the first big tournaments you have, or we've had. What are your thoughts on the meta breakdown here? And is it what you expected?
I expected like Amber Steel, Ruby Amethyst, and just a bit of Sapphire Ruby. I didn't expect like second really most represent deck. Like people really wanna play that deck again, and that's also kind of bad for me because I also want to play that deck, like continue playing it. But since it's like one of the big three right now, people will tech against it again, and then it gets way more difficult to play overall. Like what happened when I think it was DLC Chicago, right? Where Sapphire Ruby was like second best deck or so. People start to tech like crazy against that, and yes, it could happen again that like Ruby M starts to tech like more like B King or Lady Tremaines, at least more than before. And yeah, that would be really bad for me because then the matchup just gets worse. And else everything else was like expected. Yeah, the Steel Songs and Ruby M. And then there are so many small decks which I also expect because people want to try new decks, right? So they bring like more unusual colors or like new or color combinations that got a push, like Blurple, for example. Yeah, but it's kind of cool to see all the new decks.
Yeah. So no real surprises here in this meta. It's kind of what everybody expected.
Yeah.
I definitely expected the big three. I just thought they'd be closer in numbers. Yeah, as he mentioned, like some of the newer decks, Sapphire Emerald as well. The Clarabelle ramp deck. A couple people tried that out. I guess another thing that was kind of surprising too is like only 5 Amber Amethyst decks. I think that was a big like worry at the start of the meta that there would be a lot of aggro decks. So for it only to be, still 2% of the room, which is about like 2%, I think is probably close to what its representation has been at challenges as well. So
Yeah, I think hyper aggro is always like a fear that everybody has when you especially when you play a deck like Ruby M or Sapphire Ruby, we were like both decks kind of lose against hyper aggro, right? But the thing is, most people don't want to play hyper aggro. It's too linear. It's too boring. Besides the fact that it loses to Sealstone, no, most people don't even think about that. They just don't want to play aggro because it's so linear. Yeah, at least like all my friends and all the groups I'm in, literally nobody wants to play hyper aggro.
There's this for me. I've been known to play an aggro deck in my day, but there's this really like bad feeling where like you've got that window to win in the very beginning of the game, and if you miss it, you're just playing the rest of the game knowing you've already lost, and it's just a really terrible feeling.
Yeah.
So I get it. It feels good to win in like 5 turns, but then it feels awful if you miss it, and then you're just dead in the water while Ruby Sapphire just does its thing for a bajillion turns.
Or Steel just controls the board.
Yeah. Oof. It is interesting. The one thing I've seen a ton of Emerald Amethyst being teched and a lot of players like running with that. For me, I think that's the one surprise. I thought it would be better represented. I mean, 9 coming into it, it seems, I don't know, based on everything I've been seeing in socials, it's the one that I thought probably would have been a little higher, but I don't know.
Which deck again? Sorry.
Emerald Amethyst.
It's an unusual color combinations, like always. I mean, I think the top 3 are stronger than that deck, and people tend to just play what they already know. So
Yeah, that makes sense. If you've been playing Ruby Sapphire for 4 sets, you may as well carry it forward into a new meta. I get it, but that's interesting.
I'm always the person at the last minute who's like, no, change 20 minutes beforehand. Do one you've never done before.
I don't
before
even
the
have the
deck
cards to
is
change.
due. Yeah, I'm like, I have too much influence
Same,
from
honestly.
outside world, and then I'm like, oh no, lemon lime, this is the way to go, and then I get named Lemon Lane because I did so poorly. So go with what you know is a good idea.
Yeah, it's funny not having the cards. I did that last set champs. I was like, I only had my Emerald Amethyst deck built from like set 3, and going into my 1 set champs, I'm like, you know what? I've been playing Emerald Steel a little bit. Like, I'll build the deck and I'll bring that in, to go to the dark side. And I'm like, and then I have like 1 beast, and I was like, oh well, guess I'm not doing that. So yeah, I also don't have the cards to change decks. Anyway. Din, I do want to look at, so I kind of cheekily asked both of you for some set 5 deck lists, like what you're playing. Actually, I'll start with you, Kendall, because we have yours from Charlie's.
Sorry, I got distracted. We have a cat co-host.
Yeah.
He's helping me out.
Sorry. This picture, Kendall, I was trying to find a picture of you at Charlie's, and before I came across the Candios, this was the only one I could find.
There is a top 8. I think there's a top 8 photo as well. I don't know if you saw that one.
I couldn't find it on. I just searched your Twitter feed.
I can send it. I can send it to you.
Yeah.
But
it's a shoofy of all the
yeah.
top 8.
It's those Crocs are new. I don't know. I was just kind of one day. I think I just Googled like Disney Crocs, literally like last week or something. And I saw those. I was like, wow, those are great. Like because I just wear Crocs. I live in my Crocs. I don't really. I mean, I have pairs of socks, but yeah, I don't know. I live in my Crocs, and I saw those, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna order them, and they came like super fast. Thought I would have them. I was planning just to have them for Vegas, but shipping was like really fast. They came in, and I was like, oh, sick. So I get to wear them for the Charlie's 10K. And that's Luca as well. And I think those were Hello Kitty Crocs.
They were Hello Kitty.
Yeah, I love it.
I was deeply invested in the Croc game, so.
I was too, apparently, because here they are. So Luca Serrano, another fantastic player, and friend of the channel. So great. Terrace Black saying he just bought his first pair of Crocs. So comfy.
Perfect for DLCs.
So we do have your list, and then I'm really excited to ask Din about his deck building process, and we'll take a look at his Toronto deck in a second. But this is what you brought into Charlie's, and not a lot different here, is there?
No, there's 2 libraries from set 5. And honestly, I was tempted to play just 3-cost Maleficent, so we would have 0 new cards in my deck. I kind of wanted to do that because I thought it would be funny if I just performed well. This is like coming from playing Magic too. A lot of times like a new set would come out, and then someone would win the tournament the following week or something, and it had 0 new cards. But I did really want to try Library out, just getting ready for Vegas, and it turned out to be really good. There are some other set 5 cards that I would consider that, I think we talked about it one time on the show here, but you don't really have to do too much for Ruby Amethyst because the core of the deck takes up a lot. So yeah, there are some, you can play like 1 or 2 Elsas, maybe the new 5-cost Elsa. I played Cogsworth as like a 1-of as well. He did okay in some spots, but overall the deck performed really well. I was happy that there was 12 uninkables. I guess maybe quick notes is that I was playing Cusco at the start of the set was like a big thing. I decided last minute to switch back to Flynn's. The main reasoning being there are no edict effects, no like sacrifice effects. So no Tremaine, no Bee Kings. So that makes you a little weaker to Sapphire decks, and because of that I still wanted the Flynn Rider available. So that's the main reasoning for that. I was playing 3 Be Prepared. I went back to 4. The main reasoning being because of all the Steel Song. I felt like you just need 4 Be Prepareds when you play against 4 Steel Song. And yeah,
I'm curious why you have the library instead of Queen's Castle. Is it just to have Shimmering Skies in there and give it a try, or is there a strategic advantage there?
There's 4 Castle as well.
Ah,
at the very bottom.
I have a chat dialogue box that's up. Never mind.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep.
All right.
So I was playing like 3 castle and 2 library. I quickly realized that castle's still a great card. So definitely want to play 4 of those. So I had went down to 1 library.
Okay.
But I went back to 2 library. I really wanted to see it. I really wanted to test it to make sure that I didn't want it to be Maleficent in any of those spots. And I think I was really happy with it over the weekend. I pretty much never felt like I wanted it to be Maleficent, and it was really great in all of the spots. Like I got to play it. So
Awesome. Then I know this isn't your jam, but any thoughts on this particular combination, this set? I mean, I when I opened Kendall's list, I don't know about you, but I was looking for new stuff, and I'm like, this is this is the list.
Tried and true.
I don't really like. So the thing is, Red barely got anything highly competitive. At least for like Ruby Amethyst and Ruby Sapphire. So there's nothing you can add there. But Purple Amethyst got a few tools right, but in my opinion, like every single card in this list, particularly, is already that good. You need to actually power creep it, and none of that got power crept. So I don't see a reason to swap any of these out. I like the library also because, I mean, Kendall had no mirror matches, right? You had no mirror matches,
yeah,
but
no
I think,
mirrors.
I think that also helps a lot in the mirror too. In the long
That was
run,
my
when-
main reasoning for playing it because
Yeah.
I felt like probably like against like Ruby Sapphire and Blue Steel or against a lot of decks, I might actually prefer it to be Maleficent. But I did feel like it probably went a little, it has way higher upside in the mirror match. But I ended up not playing it in the mirror, playing the mirror at all. But yeah.
Like when I considered playing Ruby Amethyst earlier, like not earlier, but when I started Lorcana, I also looked at the card like medallion weights that lets you when you challenge with a character into another character, I think you will draw a card. So that's basically the same idea. Like you use you are trading in the mirror a lot, right? So now you are getting cards for that, and yeah, I really like it a lot. And yeah, I wouldn't change anything here. I think I cannot see much that I would change.
Yeah, he did.
I
He
think.
brought up a good point about this, like the power creeping. Like all of these cards are so good on rate that for me to replace Maui in the deck, you literally have to print a better Maui, right? So it's not like I don't know of a card that will, replace Maui. So all of these cards, there's a big core of the deck it's like 40 cards, 45 cards that just are automatic 4-ofs. They go in the deck. The Mim Merlin package takes up a lot of the deck anyways. So, and yeah, you first mentioned that Ruby really didn't get anything. I think of the cards that I ordered. I just ordered singles for Simmering Skies, the set, like foil copies. They were all Amethyst cards. I don't think I ordered a single.
Yeah,
Ruby
same for
card.
me. I think I ordered like 4 Sapphire cards and that's it. Yeah, like Chicha, Donald Duck, Tipo, and Cusco. I think I missed Hideaway, by the way. I still need to order it, but yeah.
So funny.
You got Visions? You said Visions?
Oh yeah, Visions too. Visions too. Of course. Yeah.
Who is it who said like they think low key Visions is like the best card in this set that nobody's talking about?
Sailor
tweeted it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. One note on like buying singles and stuff. I'm looking at this deck, and you both hit the nail on the head. Like you really have to power creep something or put a new bomb in there to swap anything out. We're getting further and further from set 1 and set 2 print runs, and like Maui last time I checked was like a $16 or $17 rare.
Yeah. A normal rare too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what Be Prepared is right now, but it's got to be getting up there. Fox by itself is a $5 rare from Floodborn. And so unless we see another print run, this deck, if it continues to perform well as new people enter the game, this is going to become difficult to build for people on an average budget.
Yeah, I remember beginning of the game in set 1, Maui's were $4 or $5. But yes, as it's further and further out, it's a proven staple in any Ruby deck. it's just going to keep going up, even if it's a normal rare. But yeah, again, the deck performed well. It doesn't look exciting. So like, if you're excited to play set 5 cards, probably not the deck for you. But if you're, concerned about your wallet, well, yeah, you just have to buy 2 libraries, and there you go.
Yeah.
The thing is, right now we are in a spot like right the competitive season is basically over for new people because you cannot get tickets for anything right now. The only like if you start now and if you want to play majors, and the only thing you can play now is the last chance qualifier, right, for the European and the North American continentals.
Mhm.
But we have no information on that. So well, right now we're in a weird spot where people actually try to want to start Lorcana, but everything they can play is like locals and set champs, which depending on the person, but I just assume someone who wants to play this game highly competitive, they get turned off now. But for the next season, I assume that many people will join, like a lot. Also because they see the money you get from Worlds or from Continentals, whatever, they just see it. They want to join, and then maybe then the prices will even be crazier. Like I can expect maybe like $100 more for each deck. That can happen because of the reprint policy in this game. Like Ravensburg is actually reprinting everything to dirt, but who's opening the product? That's the bigger issue because they can reprint it and it's in stock in every store, but people still need to buy it and open it to make the singles available. So as long as there are no big vendors trying to like buy more and more and more and open more, the prices will go up significantly next year maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had this also random, but I have enjoyed watching the economics of the Floodborne deck. Gosh, I'm blanking on the name. Might and Magic. Because you have Fox in there, you have Rabbit. Both of those are creeping up in price, and eventually those are going to become very attractive for people to start buying out just for the singles. Anyway, Din, I did want to ask you about your deck, and we don't have a set 5 deck. I know you're working on, something. Are you playing in Vegas or Birmingham or Seattle?
Birmingham. I play Birmingham, Seattle, and then the Continentals.
Both continentals.
Yeah, if they let me, and right now I just assume they will let me. So I have quite a journey ahead of me.
Yeah. So I know you're teching for set 5, and you're kind of keeping, some cards up your sleeve, as it were. But this is what you played in Toronto. And when we were chatting before the show, you mentioned that you kind of wanted to talk about, how you built this particular deck and kind of your deck building process, because you thought it'd be interesting to talk about. And I jumped at the offer because I'm interested to hear, how you approach, constructing a deck for a big tournament.
Yeah, so sorry, I have to speak a bit quieter. It's still okay?
Yeah, totally fine.
My neighbors just knocked, I think. So the main idea of this deck was, or like how I started with Red Blue was, people told me to play it basically, and I looked at it, and it was the gameplay that I like in a game that has resources like ink, mana, or whatever. Like a control deck with like a end game combo where you finish your opponent up. And I like that a lot. So having stuff like a bot wipe and then ramping and then having an engine that generates value like Hiram, and then you just go into your combo of Tamato and Dime or Dime and whatever. That's like my gameplay, my game style. And how I started playing this deck was I saw many lists, and many lists weren't they didn't play the good cards as play sets, like be prepared, sometimes how far go, sometimes one jump, sometimes brain. And for me, if I see important cards like that, I always want to play them at max. The only time when I would cut it down would be like for example, for set 5. For set 5, we have too many good cards to fit in 60 right now. That's a big problem. That would be the only time where I would cut down. But for set 4, I could fit every good card in and still had space to spare, like for the Judy, for example. So in this case, how I approach deck building is always like I take the important cards, I put play sets in, or at least the required amounts. For example, 2 dimes, Quill, in this case, Popsicle, Brain, 1 jump, How Far, Be Prep, Brawl, and all these cards. I put in the play sets, and after that, I put in the second tier of cards, like the removers. In this case, Maleficent, Medusas. I put them at 3 because I wanted to fit in the Pegasus as a tool against Flynn. So I had to make some cuts somewhere, and I just determined that these cuts were not the most important ones. But the main thing here is I would never cut down on something like B-Prep to put in other removals, like at least right now, even for set 5, even with Pete, because the second reason why I like this deck, besides the gameplay, is that it's the only deck right now in the entire game that can actually make a real comeback, like has a really, really good chance on a comeback because of cards like Be Prepared and because of the card quality of the top decking, right? So what I mean by that is, like, in the DLC, I had, especially in the top cut, I had situations where I was like completely behind, I had 0 chance, and then I top decked my tech card, which is Diggle Adipa in this case, and I just make a full comeback because I got exactly Be Prepared and Tamatoa, like my 4th Be Prepared, and that's why I just want to maximize the odds of getting that card. And some people are also saying they don't want to see like certain card twice or like having multiples in the hands, but the main problem is like you would rather have it like 3 or 4 times in the hand than 0 times, right? So that's why you should always maximize on these kind of cards, even if you draw multiples of that, because it doesn't matter, because if you need it, you actually need it, otherwise you lose. So I just went through my deck like that, and then I added it's almost like my Toronto build. I think I only my Fort Worth build and my Bologna build, I think I only changed the Pegasus because I expected a lot of green and yellow. In the end, I only played 1, so that was bad. And I also added the Sisu just because of green yellow. Again, I only faced 1, so it was useless because they didn't draw really well, so the Sisu was kind of useless. And else, yeah, it's almost stayed the same. Like, what I liked about the deck was just the comeback capability, and you have so much filter cards which other decks don't have, like the Develop Your Brain, How Far Go, and now of course the Visions. Now Red Blue is like super fast. Like, it's like before Red Blue was like, yo, I have to top deck into Tamatoa. Like, I summon my first one, it gets removed, and then I have to top deck into the next one. Now we have Visions. You just activate Visions. You maybe miss it, but now you are 5 cards deep in your deck, and then you do it again, and then now you are so much faster. But a huge reason why I play this deck, because I tried other decks, and sometimes I get bored, like, by just playing cards out that have no filter cards effect, like Tala and Develop, because I don't get the choice. Like, when I play more mid-range decks, like even Red Purple, that deck is really skillful, but it sometimes just bores me because I can only go Rabbit and draw, and then Friends and draw. I don't get the choice between cards. I just draw. Like, you draw. It's okay. That's also fun. Drawing is fun, but I like to search cards. And for set 5, like going from set 4 to set 5, in my opinion, the meta didn't change much. So if you are going to a challenge, you should expect the big 3 and then tech for these decks. like for example, you can face the hyper aggro, but I don't expect to face the hyper aggro because it's like maybe 5% of the room, and also the really insane players are probably not playing it, meaning the player quality of the players that are actually taking that deck in of the 5% is maybe only average. So that's also something you have to consider, because then if you want to top, you are at the top tables, right? And at these tables, the aggro deck are most likely they are not there, most likely. That's how you have to always to analyze the field, in my opinion. So in that regard, nothing really changed, because Ember still got new tools like Naveen, Daisy maybe, and Pete, but you can play around that. You can adjust your deck with like more character moves like Sisu. We also saw Scar in the 10k event. And else like Ruby Amethyst is almost the same. We saw Kendall's deck, right? It's almost the same. Maybe people are playing Elsa, but Elsa's doing literally nothing against red blue. I don't even know why they actually play it. Like, I don't really get why you're playing a 5-cost 2/5 rush, but I guess. And the other decks are all cool. I like them, but they don't have an edge over Ruby Sapphire. So right now, when I just building my deck, going from set 4 to set 5, I'm almost changing nothing. Like, for example, people are playing the human Sisu. You can do that. You can go Ice Block, human Sisu, and big Sisu. That is approach to beat the hyper aggro. But if we go the route I assume I don't face hyper aggro, I don't see a reason to put such a strain on my deck, because putting so many uninkable cards that need each other is such a high deck building cost. So I don't really see it. And I know that building it like this works, and it worked for me, right? Topping 3 times. So what I will do is like, I will only upgrade my deck with like visions, all the good cards, like Tipo, because it's an inkable 1-jump. So that's also really good, making your deck way more consistent. You can play both. Like, I saw this with like 4 Tipo, 4 1-jump. Just go super consistent on the ramp. Like, if you play like this, with the 1-jump, Tipo, and How Far I Go, and Quill, you will end up on like 7-8 ink on turn 5. And that's massive, because then you can drop like Sisu, Scar, Tamatoa, Biprep before your opponent can really go off, and that's really strong. And of course, then you also have visions. And that's how I would approach red blue. And the other way would be like, just go with Sisus. But again, I don't really like the deck building costs for such a big event, for going like 9 rounds and then top cut that's quite long. And I just fear the brick. So I don't really like that. There's also 2 kinds of bricks in red blue that people sometimes don't realize. First, it's the uninkable, too many uninkables. And the second would be if you keep drawing bad cards, or not bad cards, but if you keep drawing your tech cards in the late game, when both players are top decking, and you keep drawing Sisus, you could like human Sisus, Ice Block, whatever, that is also a brick, because you cannot finish your opponent, and then your opponent is taking their engine, or maybe they're ahead, because sometimes we will empty our hands with like Quill, or like getting discarded by Ursula or Band Necessities and so on. We are top decking, and if you keep decking that, all the tech cards is also kind of bad. And also mainly why I'm saying this is people are cutting the filter cards like a lot. If you check out every single Ruby Sapphire deck, like almost nobody's playing how far I go anymore. Sometimes also no develop your brain. There's already 8 filter cards that, although you only take 1, it's basically like draw 2, because you are going 2 cards deep into your deck. And sometimes your tomatoes are a bit way down, or the dime also. You need to get to these cards fast. So you need to dig through. That's why I also play dig a little deeper, right? You need to dig through your deck. I actually went through my entire deck multiple times in the recent DLCs with the deck a little deeper. So like I saw every single card, and yeah, that's how you should play red blue, cycle through, because otherwise you will always rely on your draw luck, that you will draw your ice block first and then into your Sisu and then in your big Sisu and then into your Tamato. Like you need to draw that specific, like how do you call it, like in that specific order. If you don't draw it in that order, you will lose. Like you will lose 100%. And that's why I like to play with filter cards, because I can change up my game plan like in the middle of the game basically. And yeah, but my main problem right now with the builds is they are cutting all the filter cards, and especially how far I go for the ice block and human Sisu, which I don't like. And how far I go is also an insane card, because it's from the card economy perspective, it's a +1. But it's a bit more than a +1, because you are using a card, you are getting one hand card back, you're getting 1 ink, but that ink will let you have a high impact play, right? Like if you're like 1 round earlier for your B prep or your Scar or your Sisu, that will have a huge impact. That's why it's a bit better than +1. And people, I don't know, they only see it as a filter card somehow, but it's like, for me at least, I like it more than Hiram, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Fascinating. Wow. I don't know. Any thoughts, Kendall, on this particular deck or the meta in general? Any observations?
I like Ruby Sapphire a lot, and I like its place with so much Amber Steel. I think Amber Steel's probably going to be the most popular deck, just based off Charlie's results and a lot of the upgrades that it got. So it's generally, Ruby Sapphire is generally favored, and I would just listen to DKP here when he says like try to build your deck as consistent as possible, because that's really, I think Ruby Sapphire and Ruby Amethyst are both like hyper consistent on what they do. Ruby Amethyst draws a bunch of cards, and Ruby Sapphire has all the card selection as far as card filtering. So yeah.
yeah, that's. I mean, in the end, we can always say it. You can win with every deck. You can win with every list. For example, the list that won in Bologna, in my taste, it's way too bricky. Like it played, I think 18 or 19 uninkables, no ram cards. So meaning every single uninkable was no ink. Like for example, in this build that you saw, I played 8 uninkables that could be used as ink, right? 1 jump hand and how far go, and he played 0 of that. And then, because sometimes I know for myself, sometimes I was like, I looked at my hand, all uninkables, but I had 1 jump to have basically an ink for that turn. And but in the end, it's variance. You can also win with like a less consistent deck. But yeah, it's always a risk management what you have to do in such kind of game, where you can build a more high rolly deck, more riskier deck, but higher power, or you go like less power and more consistent. That's always a true choice we can make. It works in every deck. Like for example, Daisy Duck, the I forgot his name again, the winner of the 10K.
Candia?
Yeah,
Brennan?
the Kenyo. Yeah, he didn't play Daisy, right? Because
Mhm.
if you are watching all the matchups right now, Daisy is just giving them ink for free, and the deck is not that aggressive, like hyper aggressive. So what you do with Daisy against most decks right now is you are giving them ink for free, and yeah, and everybody's teching for hyper aggro. So what you only did was you gained 2 lore. They will remove it somehow regardless, and you just gave them cards for free. So I can see playing Daisy, but I can also see don't play Daisy. That's in the end a risk you have to manage for yourself.
I have a question for you, Din, because I keep getting it asked a lot. People that see you play are very curious about what you do to prepare, because you don't even, now correct me if I'm wrong, do you play on a mat?
No.
Yes. So please, you have to tell people like all about how you prep for a DLC, and like, is not using a mat something that is part of that, like just less mental clutter, or like
No.
I'm deeply invested in why
Okay.
it's nothing that good. Okay.
Okay. I have playmats here, like the one I want. So
Still
how
the
it started?
plastic, so not used.
I have to wash it first, and then I will
Oh,
use
okay.
it. Yeah, because if playmats are printed new, they stink so much. Like the color stinks, so I don't like that. No, the main reason why I don't play a playmat is when I started, I had only Yu-Gi-Oh playmat, which is also somewhere. Like this is Yu-Gi-Oh playmat with Yu-Gi-Oh field zones, so I don't want to use it for Lorcana. So I had like 0 playmats that I could use, and then I just started playing on the tablecloth. I use the German word tablecloth, and that's how I started. Like I just played on that, and I'm like, that's actually fine. And I'm a really superstitious person, so I just kept playing without playing because I kind of perform better on no playmat. So I don't know.
Love
Now it's a
it.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's a thing exactly. And
I
yeah,
love knowing the little things like that. That like, there's some folks that like they have to play with like a lucky card or whatnot. and
yeah, it's like
That's
people
exciting.
always have something, right? Like maybe a plushie or like
Mhm.
special dice as well, whatever. Yeah, how I prep for tournaments is so my background is Yu-Gi-Oh. I saw some people in the chat already commenting purely. That's a cat deck, funny enough. And yeah, my background is Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm still playing it. I played it really hardcore. Like I'm a pro player. I'm a known player in the scene, and yeah, I play it quite a lot. So what that means is I got like all the fundamentals I need to play a TCG, how to know how to approach a TCG. So that's also the main reason why I think I started to perform that fast. I myself didn't expect to perform that early. Like I knew that I wanted to play all DLCs. Like that was my goal, just to have the highest chance to get an invite. But I was like, yeah, maybe I will top like after the third or fourth DLC. Especially after my first DLC in Bochum, I lost really hard. But after I wasn't angry anymore at the 2-game format, I analyzed my games, and I also saw like that I misplayed a lot. And yeah, the fundamentals helped me a lot. So what I do right now is, for example, when I started playing Red Blue, and maybe it only works for Red Blue, but then I'm lucky. So what I do for Red Blue is I know what the deck does, right? Of course, I playtested a bit in the beginning to learn the game, but now, for example, for Bologna, for Fort Worth, for Toronto, I didn't playtest at all. I just look at the deck list of whatever deck exists. So let's say I look at Steel Song and I see the list, and this game doesn't have like combos that like, for example, I use one card and that card goes into another card, like in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, you start with one card and in the end you end with like a whole board that has like infinite disruptions, and you need to know so much. And this game you play like turn 1, I know, Cinderella, turn 2 is me, and I can see that just from the list, right? In my head I can just play out the scenario, and then I can prepare for that in my head without
Mentally
playing it
prepare,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So and then I just adjust my build to that. I already know that certain cards were really good, so I just filled them up. And for the last tech slots, I just looked at the decks and see, okay, I might struggle against this and this matchup. I went through every single matchup, and I saw like, okay, what's called like an Amber Emerald. I have a brawl, but sometimes they get the Cove, and then I'm literally cooked because the Diablo will get so much value, and they keep discarding my hand, and I will lose that. So I put in the Pegasus. I saw that I put in the Pegasus. I just decided to, not to lose to Diablo. The same applied to Sisu. The board where they have like Prince John, Muse, Diablo. I didn't want to lose to that, so I put in the Sisu. I was fine with that. If I don't need it, I just ink it with quill, and the rest stayed the same. And for playtesting itself, like after finishing my deck build, I kept looking at the list, and then what I do most of the time is I open any simulator where you can just play any deck, and I put the opponent's deck on the screen, and I take my real life deck in my hands, and then I basically test against myself. This only works if you know how the other deck works, or at least how that deck should work against your deck, so you know the optimal lines. And then what you do is you take you can just play normally, which works, but it takes more time. It's random because drawing random hands takes longer. So what you can do is like you take a certain hand, like you take the hand you want, you give your opponent on the screen the hand you want them to have, and then you can test out certain scenarios and see how stuff interacts, so you can see it. That's how I do it, to see, like, for example, for set 5, how good is Scar actually, like, is it better than Sisu? Like the second place of the 10K, he didn't play Sisu, I think he played only Scar, so I want to test that, so I just turned on untap. In that case, I gave him the computer basically the Amber Steel, like I played myself, right? I gave them the best hand possible, I gave me the best hand possible, and then Scar at the right timing, and I just saw, okay, it's not bad, kind of works, especially if they have like Smees on field that Sisu cannot wipe if you don't have the ice blocks. It's actually good. So yeah, right now I liked him, for example, so that's how I test mainly.
So
you can do
lots
that.
of playtesting then.
Yeah, that's how, like, how should I put it? If you take basically the fun out of the testing and do everything really efficient, you save a lot of time. But it's not fun. It's literally not fun, because you are only testing scenarios. You're not playing really much. But again, that's what I gained from playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't have to do that. I'm only doing that to save time, because I have to do other stuff. And you can do the same stuff with a friend. For example, both you are playing online or remote, whatever, and then you don't like, you can do mulligans, of course, when you want to test mulligans, but let's say you already know how to mulligan your deck against the matchup. So what you do is like you just take the hands that you need, and even if you top deck bad, you put the top deck bad and say, yeah, I need an inkable now so we can test the scenario. So you just draw the next one and get the inkable, and then now what you do is like you skip like 10 games of variance of randomness and compress it to one, where you actually test the scenario you wanted to test, or the card. Like, you have a certain tech card in mind, right, that you wanted to put in. Let's say the Elsa 5 cost, a new one, the Amethyst one, that has Russian evasive. You want to test that, all right? So now you can play random matches, and yeah, I know you would draw Elsa at the 5th game also, but you can also have Elsa in the first game when you just take her out of the deck and put it in your hand as the next top deck. So you know, okay, now I have the Elsa. Now I can see if that works in that case for where you put it in. That will only this method will help you to like test more focused and more time efficient. But it's really boring. It's really boring. It takes the fun out of the game in every single game. Especially in Yu-Gi-Oh! But I mean, if you want to do that, it's fine. For me, it works. I just want to skip the basically, instead of playing 30 games, I want to play 5.
Yeah.
About
I know
that.
Kendall does a lot of playtesting in the lab server, yeah.
I probably do the least amount of playtesting.
Oh
out of my
no! Well, you do it, yes.
Yeah, I playtest. I played a lot. I played a lot online. It slowly, as each set came out, I slowly played less and less online. But then here recently, honestly, not a lot of playtesting. I I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, especially if you're newer, right? Like, I highly recommend if you want to get better at the game to play a lot of games. So either do like he said, test with yourself, get a buddy and play a bunch of games that way. Get as many games in as you can, however you can. But me, like, I've just played card games for a while, so like I just have a good background in TCGs, I guess. I've also played Ruby Amethyst since set 1, so as long as I'm not planning to switch decks, I don't really need to playtest too much. I'm pretty comfortable with the deck. But like one thing I do, and maybe it makes sense to me, but I don't know, is I still just like keep a strategic mindset. And I don't know what I mean, but I'm just a gamer, I guess. So I play other card games, like I play Pokemon. I went to like Star Wars locals. I've never played Star Wars. They had like a draft night, so we just drafted Star Wars. Never played it, And I play other games. WoW just came out. I'm playing WoW. So I'm still like in like the gamer mindset, but keeping my brain sharp, I guess, in those senses. And the other thing is coaching too. I've mentioned that plenty of times that a lot of my time is spent with coaching. So I'm kind of pseudo playing the game or always thinking about the game in strategic ways because I'm having to teach people these things too. So that's really what it is for me.
What do
Yeah,
you do
same for me.
physically?
That's
Oh, yeah, go for it.
oh yeah. No. I just want to say that the coaching actually helps a lot to
Hmm.
get.
It's kind of like cheating, I guess. You're helping
Yeah.
somebody, but they're also kind of helping you at least like think about,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
and the questions that people have, they make you think about it for a second and stuff like that. So like questions that people ask in coaching, those questions do come up in paper, like in my own paper games, So
Mm.
Helps you to think about it on a deeper level if you're breaking it down for folks.
right.
I was gonna ask, what do you physically do to get ready? Because for me, going all day at a Disney Lorcana Challenge is quite a grind, especially if people are not accustomed to thinking for 9 rounds straight. That it takes a physical toll on you. So do you, Kendall, do you have any tips or anything for how to like physically prepare?
So like for going to a challenge, I would recommend getting as much sleep as you can. I have a terrible sleep schedule, so that doesn't happen for me a lot, but I really wish by the end of the 9 rounds or when it's approaching the end of the 9 rounds, like, man, I really wish I had slept more because I am beat. So the more you sleep, that's going to help. Bring water too. That's good. And then, yeah, I don't know. Try to eat something in the morning. I would at least eat something small like in the morning. And I don't really like to eat. I know we have the lunch breaks, which are great for some people, but I don't really like to eat in the middle of the tournament because I feel like it like makes me more complacent or whatever. Like I'm thinking now I'm like, oh, I'm full, or I don't know. I like to play hungry, I guess.
Energy
Yeah, I
gels
know the
just
feeling. I
Yeah.
know the feeling. I also have more specific tips. So, of course, sleep. At least 6 hours, let's say that. Drink a lot. Like, what I think the best way to ensure that you drink a lot of water is like having a schedule. Like right before you sit down, before you start the game, you drink. In the middle, you drink, and after the game, you drink. Like just drink 3 times at that specific points. Like at some point, your opponent will like think for like I don't know 2 minutes or so for that turn for some reason. Then you just take your ball out and drink. Just keep you up. Then I also recommend like bringing a like big pack of like chewing gum because chewing gum gives you more what's the English word? More air, basically, more circulating air and blood into your brain. That's better for concentrating. Then what I also do is after the game, I always go wash my hands. 2 reasons. First, your hands get sticky. You can feel that after playing because your hands get sweaty and so on. It makes your sleeves stay smooth longer because all the grease won't accumulate on your hands. Second, you will get less ill because you're touching your opponent's cards, your opponent's touching your cards, and you will the chances that you get ill is just so much less. Because when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, and I didn't wash my hands after every single round, and even sometimes before the rounds, I got ill like after every single event, and now I didn't. Like, I'm perfectly fine because I wash my hands regularly. You might need a cream for your hand, a hand lotion, because washing that often, like washing your hands that often, will ruin your skin. And then what else? You need to keep your mental up, especially if you're new to TCGs or not that experienced. You need to keep your mental up, meaning you can be angry after the tournament. Like, you are losing because of the misplay, forget about it. Like, reset immediately. I mean, you can be mad in between the rounds, but they announce pairings. You have to reset immediately. Don't think about it anymore, because it will affect you. You will misplay again, and then you will be even more mad because you ruined your entire weekend. You paid for a flight, you paid for hotel, whatever, and it will ruin everything. So reset by any means. Like, I don't know how you will do it. You have to find out the best way for yourself to reset your mental, but that's really important to stop being tilted. And see, also not pressuring yourself by saying, oh no, I'm on the bubble, I need to win like three more 2-0s. Like, don't say that. You always say, I need to 2-0 the next one. Don't think about 2-0 the next 3 ones on only the next one. The same applies to, like, okay, I have 3 more matches, I need to win 2 out of them. Like, people are like stressing out, like, damn, I still need to win 2 or so. No, you need to win the next one. You
Yeah.
don't
Take it one round
that's
at a time. Yeah.
Nice.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done because people are still stressing out. But let's say that every single percentage, or how I see it, every single percentage that would take your that you take off of your concentration will or can result in a misplay. A misplay can result in a game loss, and in this game, losing a game is a tie or is a loss. And tying in this game is almost like a loss. And if you think about it, the score to top is you need to you will have 18 games, right? Of 9 rounds times 2 is 18. You need to win 14 times. You can only lose 4 times. The game has variance. We know it all, right? Sometimes your opponent opens the god hand, the Bucky nuts, and you cannot win. You have 4 losses to catch 4 god hands. Every other loss is every other loss that you get from misplaying can ruin your entire tournament, because on average you will get like 3 or 4 god hands where you can't do anything. So you cannot waste any single loss to that. So any percentage of your concentration can ruin your entire weekend. You don't know it yet, but in hindsight you will know it
when you watch it back.
Yeah. So you have to be really careful, because in this game you cannot make a comeback. If you lose one game, in other games where you have best of 3, you can take the other 2s. It's still fine. It's not good, but you can still take the win out of the match. In this game, you're splitting or losing, and that's not good.
Brutal. I do. Din, I want to ask you one more question before we speak about it. Kendall, I know, speaking of coaching, you have to go.
Yeah, I got 4 minutes.
You got 4 minutes.
Well, then, sorry.
No.
No.
That's okay, Din. Fascinating. But I do, before you go, Kendall, I'm going to ask you for closing comments. I just want to pitch your socials again, because again, for anybody watching, if you're not following Kendall, you should be. Not only does he run some fantastic giveaways, you can see here, I think you did an enchant Aladdin on Tuesday. So great reason to follow your account. But also, if you want to play Ruby Amethyst like Kendall Berett, you can get either coaching from him, or there's a guide that I know you keep updated periodically that people can take a look at. So that's available there too. So definitely Kendall is somebody worth following if you're not. Kendall, any closing thoughts or thoughts going into about what Vegas will look like before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I am planning the people that I'm coaching. I would first really focus hard on like the big 3 decks. Don't, you might play the other decks like once, maybe twice, but not really. You're gonna play them 0 or 1 times, so don't hyper focus on how do I beat purple steel, or how do I beat green purple, how do I beat hyper aggro. Really focus on Steel Song, Ruby Amethyst, and Amber Steel as the big main matchups that you will face multiple times in the day. I'm also going to Vegas. I just got a ticket today. I posted that, so I was going regardless, but now you'll see me in the venue and not at the blackjack table. And yeah, just to add as well, like we were talking about preparing for the DLCs, but also know that if it is your first one, or even in general, don't get too discouraged by not making day 2. Day 2 is incredible, but again, like you have to win 14 out of the 18 games. So that's like a 77% win rate, which is really high for a card game. Like even the best players in other card games have, 60, 65% win rate. So for you to have a 77% win rate on the day is really like extraordinary, and it's like an anomaly almost. So it's hard to make day 2 in the tournaments. There's 2,000 people, only 64 people get to go. So really, if it's your first, don't have the mindset that you want a day 2. Like you can, that's really great. Try to make smaller goals first and then keep improving from there. So I think a good goal the first time is like 30 points, because that's the most amount of tickets that you can get for a promo. And then maybe the next time you get pushed for Let It Go. And then after that you go day 2. Or you might just be crazy good at the game and then you just make day 2 on your first one. So
yeah. And then your second one, and then, your fourth one.
They are really hard though. So sometimes people don't make day 2. Like even the really good players don't make day 2.
Yep. And we see
I haven't made day 2 to Candia, didn't make day 2 in Atlanta. Bivens didn't make day 2 in Italy,
Or Toronto, he bubbled out too.
Right. So
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. Like there's variance in the card games. That's why we play it. If we wanted to win all the time for being the better player, we'd be playing chess. That's a big. That's what people say. So
we'd be competitive skee ball players like Aaron Rubin.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm gonna hop off because I have coaching. But it was great being back. I think this was my 3rd time.
Oh, we're getting there.
Yeah. So
you're welcome anytime, and congrats on a great performance out at Charlie's again.
Yeah. Thank you, and y'all have a good night.
Take it easy.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Then I know you probably need to go too, because it's really late. But do you have time for one or two listener questions?
Yeah, I still have time. I just wanna add something to what Kendall said. So, if you're new or like your first DLC, whatever, having small goals is nice. You can still have big goals. You can have like day 2, but how I would approach it is concentrate on not misplaying. Because if you don't misplay and the expected value of like 4 god hands stays there, you will top automatically. And that's something different than to concentrate on topping. Concentrating on not misplaying is smaller, it's more narrow, because you will just check turn after turn that you do the right play. That's something that everybody should approach, and instead of looking at scores and points, you just have to concentrate on, did I play flawlessly, or like as well as possible to my own knowledge. And of course, if your knowledge is lacking, you can ask for coaching like Kendall or me, myself, or whoever. If you don't have the time to find out yourself by a trial and error. But yeah, that's how I think people should approach it, to at least if you have the goal to be a day 2 player or like a DLC winner. Yeah, that's it.
No, that's great insight. I love that. I'm gonna have to clip like some of these comments and make like a video of like how to prep for your first DLC with just like all these bits of advice from all you Lorcana pros. I have a couple questions teed up here. If you have time,
Sure.
Real quickly, we asked some questions in our Discord server. If you're here for the first time, we have a Discord server where we hang out and socialize. We have a lo-fi bot, but we also source questions from our viewers. So Enchanted Kim in the Discord server asked, how does it feel to be so integrated in the Lorcana competitive scene and community now in such a short amount of time, especially after being such a big part of other TCGs, including being a very well-known and competitively successful Yu-Gi-Oh player?
Amazing. So I of course I try to help the community, but I'm also always trying to establish a basic career in things I do right now. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, I did coaching. I'm vending for cards, basic online store, right? What I do, coaching, content, and playing. I want to do the same in Lorcana. So I want to do a career. So I need the reach, and it's extremely crazy for me that I got the reach that I basically had in Yu-Gi-Oh! In such a short amount of time. Yu-Gi-Oh! I needed years. I literally needed years to build up. And now in Lorcana, I needed like one DLC in Fort Worth. So the American guys knew me, mainly because I was hanging up with the Lorcana Goons guys, right? I was in their Airbnb. They knew me from Yu-Gi-Oh! So they pushed me a bit. And then after Bologna, the European guys knew me. So now I think at least all the pro players know me, which is quite good for the reach. And yeah, it feels really good. And now I try to use that momentum, of course, to carry my knowledge, carry my name into the scene. And yeah, seeing what happens.
That's awesome. And you're one of those players who is consistently open about, their performance, advice, trying to help other people get better. So you're one of those people that we really enjoy following because it makes us better to catch up with you after each event. So definitely appreciate that.
No problem.
I think we have one or two other questions real quick. Cypher 1000, Scott, longtime supporter of the channel, says, having played in several DLCs on both continents and making several top cuts, do you continue to see a low amount of sharking at the highest levels of competitive play?
In Yu-Gi-Oh, you will get sharked like at every opportunity. In Lorcana, not once, not even once. Like I think over 4 DLCs, I think I did I do a mishap? Not really, I think, but like takebacks are what I see at top tables. Like takebacks are actually happening, which of course is kind of against the rules, but nobody's like really sharking there. Like my opponent, for example, on stream in Toronto, he used Quill and put the inkable card into the ink. Normally I could like say, yo, you have to use it for Quill, but he meant to ink that openly and use another card for Quill. I'm like, yeah, whatever, just do it. And this game, like I never experienced sharking. No, that was not sharking. That was almost borderline cheating. But I experienced. Besides that, I never experienced sharking. And I also don't shark in this game. Like people, like they forget stuff. I let them take it back if it's in the same turn or like in the same window. For example, in the Bologna, I think Bologna stream top 64, my opponent quested with Aladdin, said pass. I drew a card. My opponent drew a card for Diablo, and then he said, "I want to banish your item with Aladdin." I'm like, "Yo, we are like in the next turn. We both drew a card. You even drew a card from Diablo. You cannot use the effect anymore. Like that is way too late." Then I would say, "No, that's too late." But if he would say like he forgot it, he played another card. He said, "Oh, I want to banish." Fine for me. I don't mind that, but yeah.
Sarah, do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, people likely know, but for anybody who doesn't, you're a pretty prominent Lorcana judge at Lorcana DLCs. Is that kind of the same vibe that you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, oddly enough, Texas had like a higher concentration of folks that just seemed like overly excited to speed play folks and just be like, but all of us judges were very apt at, identifying that and stepping in and advocating for folks. But like you said, even at day 2 top cut tables, you're seeing folks like, oh, can I take that back? And the other person's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, what is happening? Right? Yes, you're not wrong.
I saw a scene. I don't remember the exact scenario, but
Yeah.
I saw a guy like let his opponent take back a move, and he literally lost because of that. I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, that's crazy. Like,
I was literally waiting to be like called over, because you're observing and you're like, are they gonna call a judge? Nope, they're good with it. Okay, here we go, just to make sure everything's maintained. But yeah, I was very
I also
surprised
don't
and
mind it, to be honest. Like, if someone would shark me, it's not sharking, so we have to differentiate. So sharking is something that is done maliciously, right?
yeah.
Like, if someone is in the rules, like in the right, that's not sharking. Like, if I forget like a optional effect, and then I say, hey, can I still do it? And my opponent says no, that's not sharking, because it's his right to say no, because I forgot it. So we have to differentiate that. Like, sharking is literally like you touch your deck, and then he's like, yo, he's tried to stack his deck, or when something that is either a lie or something that is like out of proportion, something like that. That is sharking.
Some folks were trying to speed draw on Diablo to be like, oh, you missed the trigger, it's too late. And it's like, no, I was like literally going
like,
for the card,
draw and then inking immediately and say, no, you missed it.
No, you didn't. Yeah, you didn't do it soon enough. That was the number one thing I saw in terms of like sharking the rules,
Yeah. But if someone is misplaying, and that's also part of game, right? I don't really like if people are calling it a sharking if someone's misplaying and then they demand a take back, because we are in the end at a big tournament. People are traveling, people train for that, and if you mess up, the other guy is not responsible for your mistake. So yeah, I don't mind if people are like sharking, not sharking, but taking the right of saying, yo, you missed that. Like,
you messed up. Yeah,
I messed up. Like in Toronto, I forgot to put my popsicle to the discard, and then I summoned Tamatoa without an item. I was like, nah. Like, I didn't even try to ask. Like, my opponent would have probably let me do it, but I was like, nah. I was winning either way, but I was like, yeah. I don't even try to ask. But yeah, in general, when I played for the Mickey, I played 3 times for the Mickey. Okay, I lost twice, I won once. So I played 3 times for the Mickey, and all 3 opponents were so nice. It was literally like playing at the locals, playing for like a pack, like playing for the first place of locals. That was so chill. Nobody was like sharking. We were joking, we were talking. Yeah, we had fun. Like, in Yu-Gi-Oh, if you play in top card, like, we get a playmat, and then top 8 gets a switch. Like, we get nothing in comparison. We get literally nothing. And if you play there, they will they look you cold in the eye, say nothing. Like, how they declare effects like this. Wait, let me get some cards. They don't talk. They like, it's crazy. And then they have like the hoodie up, locked in, don't talk, just point at the effects. And Yu-Gi-Oh cards have a lot of effects, so that's like, and then you also don't talk because you know all the effects, and and that's crazy. It's like, that's different atmosphere.
seems fun.
Kind of toxic. It's fun if you enjoy the hardcore competitive kind of toxic environment. That's completely different than Lorcana. Like, if you throw the average Lorcana player into Yu-Gi-Oh, that's like, it's like throwing a kid into like a gladiator stadium.
Maybe it helps that the person across from you is wearing Crocs and a bucket hat, Like, you're just like, how can you speed shuffle, look you down the barrel when you're wearing a bucket hat?
Yeah, or DeCandio in his Peter Pan cosplay in Atlanta. Like, how do you not smile? And anyway.
By the way, you have to be careful in Lorcana. Like in other games, I don't know if every game, but in some games, if you activate a card with like an illegal target, let's say I play out like Brawl for like Cogsworth or something that has Ward. And if there's another illegal target, you have to target that. So let's say I have a Hiram, they have a cockswerk. I try to target the cockswerk. Doesn't work, obviously. They will say, yo, it doesn't work. Then you have to target your Hydra.
Yeah.
So you have to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
really careful with that.
Yeah.
And I would let my opponent take back. Like, I'm like, yeah, take it back. But the thing is, if someone says no, you have to resolve it. It's all right.
Announce your triggers when you play Pete. Let people know, hey, you can't play actions.
That was man. You're just diving right into the fire from this week's like. hot
It's my
take.
trauma. Like in
yeah.
the judge chat, I can't describe how many messages just
I'm
flowing.
actually I'm a bit confused about Pete because the text suggests that you don't have to call the trigger, but then it makes Medusa a mandatory trigger, which is also not true. Like Medusa, you don't have to pop if you don't want to.
Right.
So it's kind of weird, like because
You're
it
not
almost
wrong.
has the same. Like Medusa, you can also say no. So at that point, Pete, technically you can also say no, right? I don't know how the routing sometimes Lorcana is weird. Like it's not intuitive.
You carry a whistle if you play Pete, and then
Let's go.
it's around your neck. And then when you play it, no, you don't blow it. You take it off and you just toss it at your opponent, and then they will get the note that the trigger has been activated. That's how I felt going through. I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. You're making complete sense. That's why. But in the tournament rules, there's things about triggers that we have to uphold that made it hairy for us. That we were like, we're going to make it really clear because that's what needs to happen. We all need to be on the same page. So yeah, you're not wrong about why do you have to announce it, but apparently because you have to announce it. It's a whole thing. You can go to the rules Discord in Lorcana, and it's exciting reading.
That's so funny. So we're
an
adding
intense week.
Whistles to the mandatory outfit with the bucket hats and the Crocs.
Yes,
got it.
It's Roosevelt shirt. It's a whole thing. Pins.
Yeah. Pins. Yeah.
New emos.
Well, I know it's super late. I honestly, we could talk to you all night, but instead, let's. I'd rather have you want to come back and not keep you here for 2 hours. So
yes.
I don't mind.
Closing thoughts? Anything going into Vegas? Any thoughts or I don't know. Anything you want to close with?
Yeah. So have high goals, but don't forget to have fun. Like I started Lorcana, my first DLC, I only had fun. Even though I didn't top, I had fun. Second one also. Third one, I was a bit stressed because I really wanted the double invite, right, and the Mickey. So that was a bit stressful for me. The Toronto one was so much fun. Because I mean, I could have gotten the second Mickey, but I mainly played for fun because I already achieved like double invite, Mickey Mouse, and whatnot. So I could only get the win. Yeah, the win. Like when I was top 8, I got top 16. I felt stressed because I wanted the win, right? But having fun is the most important part because this game is really enjoyable. Especially if you don't min-max everything like I do. But enjoy it. If you wanna approach the competitive peak, concentrate on not misplaying. Keep yourself hydrated. Best case, not hungry. Wash your hands. Use chewing gum, and yeah, just give you the highest chance. Like give yourself the highest chance. Give yourself or bring yourself into the situation where you can have fun and have the highest chance. That's, in my opinion, the best way to improve in this game, and also the best way to keep your mental up so you can actually perform at the highest level. Yeah, and if you need more help, of course, you can message me on Twitter or whatnot. I think I will start offering coaching tomorrow. Like I have a lot of requests, and I still have to organize stuff. But and also I will be on vacation, so that's also a bad thing. I will be on vacation right until Birmingham, so I have only one slot each day or so. But yeah, if you need help for Vegas or Birmingham, just message me. Or for CL, I have infinite time, but for the next two, it's a bit difficult. If you need help, message me. And yeah,
that's awesome. I may take you up on that.
If
if you're watching and you're not, following DKP, I had his socials up earlier. And if you want more conversation, DKP, you were just on Earlmeister's podcast very recently, within the last couple of days, and I'm really excited to listen to that. So people can take a listen to that as well. But I'm super excited to follow you in Birmingham. Birmingham, I think I said it right.
Birmingham,
And yeah, I can't thank you enough for being here. I really hope we can do it again. Yeah.
That's another one.
Aw, yay. I love kitty co-hosts. Yay.
Yay.
Double kitty showdown.
Oh my goodness.
They're about to fight, maybe.
Well, they're thinking about what she's like, I'm gonna do Amber Steel. What you got? And she's like, Ruby Sapphire. She's like, cool.
No, he's steel. Like,
He's he's doing Amber Steel.
Mono steel.
Mono steel.
Oh, just mono steel. I live for the day when we get mono decks, that we have enough sets out, that we have enough tech for that, and I just do mono steel.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
There are some decks close to that. I think like purple, like MFS is close.
Oh.
They just need.
Oh.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Like this was so much fun, and I hope we can do it again, or maybe a video project when it's not insanely late. But I can't thank you enough for making the time. This is wonderful.
Oh no!
I lost your audio.
We might have lost audio when you moved your kitty cam.
Yeah. Oh no.
Hello.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I don't know why it switched. But yeah, I always enjoy appearing on podcasts, also for myself, of course, to get more reach, but also, of course, helping people out, giving tips and my experience. So right now, I really enjoy inspiring people, because I know a lot of people who also get frustrated like me from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever game they are in right now, and Lorcana. So welcoming, it's rewarding, welcoming, and yeah, the people are all nice. Like, I haven't met a single person that was like really bad or like getting on my nerves or so. Like, I only had good experience for now.
Yay.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, we hope that continues.
Best community.
Well, enjoy vacation
right now, yes.
and hopefully get some sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much. That was amazing.
Yeah, I can't believe it. We were privy to like, I'm just gonna start coaching now. So that was great to premiere coaching services right here.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It always feels bad. Like I'm a talker. I could talk to people all night, but we do have deadlines. But no, that was so fun. I can't wait to go back and listen to this again. I think this is gonna make me a better commentator, honestly. Some of the commentary we got from both Kendall and Din, but I don't know. What'd you think?
I love it. I'm excited. I played Ruby Sapphire before in my set champs back for the Stitch series. I did a split between Steel Sapphire and Ruby Sapphire, and this really just invigorated me to want to like give that a try. I've been having an existential crisis about what to play for set 5, and so I'm just like, it's Ruby Sapphire now. It was Amber Steel before I got here, so who knows? I have my Steel Sapphire built. I've been jamming with that and doing really well, which of course made me be like, so then add something else to the mix. I don't know what's wrong with me, but then everyone was like, I love Amber Steel, and I was like, well, then I want to try that. And now I'm like, great, I want to try Ruby Sapphire, because that does sound like it's going to be the answer for a lot of things, and just be a big contender, I think, in Vegas. I'm excited to see.
Yeah,
I'm excited to know that we should hydrate, because obviously that's obvious, right? But Vegas, let's be real, is going to be very hot and very sweaty, more sweaty than usual. So please hydrate, overhydrate, double hydrate.
The hydrating is interesting. Like, because again, you think, yeah, of course you hydrate, but like you lose track of time in these events. I don't know about you judging, but I know commentating and then playing, like you blink and the next thing you know, 5 rounds have gone by and you're like, I haven't eaten since like 9 a.m.
Yeah, I hit the ground running, and yeah, they take good care of us. We have a break area and we can run back there and whatnot. But I like to be extra, and during my break times is when I get to go and talk to people that I haven't been able to talk to the whole time. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go back there and get snacks and water, and like literally on my way back there, we'll stop, and be like, well, there's the time. I'm gonna go back now. But I think, I have a podcast. We talked about trash tea. So
Yeah.
there is a way to hydrate. If you can take around a half-gallon jug of tea with you, that's also an adequate source of hydration, as we've learned. So
Well,
judge next.
That's a great segue because
Yeah.
we're going to get to trivia here in a moment. But before we do that, I want to hear about your podcast project. What's going on?
It's been a bumpy road, but I am excited that I finally got it launched. I'm going to have what's called the Lore Library, since I am the Lorcana Librarian.
Mhm.
I might morph into the Lore Librarian. I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned. But I basically want to explore my favorite thing, which is the parks, and how that relates to my other favorite thing, Lorcana. And so it's going to be a deep dive into park news, and what holds us together as a community has been like these events that we're doing. So I love the DLC. I think my love of Lorcana grew infinitely. Put together kind of like a DLC guide with my good friend Kim, Enchanted Kim, to kind of help people do the DLCs, and just kind of like, well, what's another platform I can help people in these events? So utilize my judge knowledge, going to, I've been to everything but Atlanta and Toronto, unfortunately. So to kind of talk to the folks in the community, connect the parks, and then have a really good look at the lore behind Lorcana, which now they blessed us with all of these story details. I'm very excited for that, so we can actually look into the lore of the cards. And so exciting stuff coming. Very, very exciting. Yes, parks and Lorcana. Yes, please. I mean, my love of Disney is for the parks. I know some people are into it for the music and the songs. Some people are into it for the films and the characters and the princesses. I love the parks, and the things that relate back to the park are the things that I love most. And so I'm very, very excited for getting an Oswald card, because for me, I'm like, oh, that's a California Adventure character. He's at the park. So things like that. I'm very excited on the podcast. And so one of the things I got to do was have our good friend Lorcana Bell on. We all know she's a huge supporter of Team Lab. And so obviously, naturally, had to have that be our interviewer for a very extensive, what I thought would be one episode. What I thought would be one episode, right? It's going to be a 3-parter, because we ended up talking for over 3 hours, and I could not edit it down into something that people are going to want to consume in one sitting. And so we will have a 3-part series, which is very exciting, with Team Lab. Our first debut episode was with R&B and Humble, talking about DLC prep, some predictions they had for Toronto and whatnot, which turned out to be spot on, which was great. So I had technical issues, couldn't get out in time, but supposed to be out last week. But hey, I'm new, making it work.
If there's one thing content creators are familiar with, it's releasing content late.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I'm just new to the club, and already just in the mix with my not being on time with stuff. But yeah, and then I had Cloudflare issues with getting it to the audio channel, so it's on YouTube, and it is in the middle of doing its thing to get distributed to pretty much everywhere that a podcast is. So, oh hey, look, people putting it in the chat.
There it is. So you have the link. We'll have the link in the show notes, and
Yes.
the link is also in the chat right now on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, it's not there, but I will put it there. Hold on.
Making content is hard. It is very hard, but it's a labor of love, and we love doing it, because I just love this community. This has been such a heartwarming and just all around great vibe of a community. So whatever I can do to keep that going, I'm excited.
Yeah, it is. It is not. It's hard, and it's not cheap. Say that too. I do want to get to trivia before too long, so we can wrap up. But I do have one question for you that was asked specifically for you in our Discord server.
Oh my goodness.
From Enchanted Kim. Sarah, you're so involved and help create so many things in the Lorcana space, from love to lore, DLC judging, creating helpful guides, making a podcast, etc. Are there any new, basically I'm interpreting this question as, is there anything you can't do, but are there any new projects you're working on, or anything you're still hoping to accomplish in the Lorcana space, such as be a DLC caster or do a collab with someone, etc.? What are your ambitions?
Oh my gosh. I have all the ambitions, right? Obviously, because I keep putting my hand into everything. But oh man, wow, caught off guard with such a great question. Being a caster would be great, but I think you and Rebecca and the rest of the team, Becky, everybody just does such a fantastic job that I just don't foresee myself, unless you guys need really ridiculous Disney color content.
Oh, of course.
I know the lines, but just enough to be like, oh, I'm so excited to see Rapunzel and Mother Gothel together. Did you know that she's a meet and greet at Oogie Boogie Bash? Like, that would be what I would have to chat about.
I love it.
Which I feel like is valid information.
I agree.
But yeah, oh my goodness, I just want to keep getting people educated and lower their anxiety. Kim mentioned L to L, which is Love to Lore. I'm an organizer, one of the co-founders, which was exciting. The co-founding members, I don't understand titles, but when they're applied to myself, I'm the worst at talking about myself. But I feel like that endeavor, especially just to like create a more welcoming space to folks that felt really anxious. I myself was very anxious about approaching that space. Next week we have an interview with Wonderland and Zenulus on my podcast, and I talk a lot about my inability to get into a league for like 4 or 5 months, just because of the anxiety of like who I was going to face. Oddly enough, the first person I faced had like the cards, and they were like power shuffling and like, go, like, get through this match. I need to get my points because I'm trying to get the pin. And I was like, wow, okay, this is not what I expected. But that person actually ended up being a judge at the DLC with me and whatnot, because we became great friends and got them, plugged into the community. And so you never know with folks. And long story short, what do I want to do? Just keep getting more people into the community, whatever way I can do that. My goals are just to meet everyone and be like, how can I help you? How can I make that connection for you? I am working on a project that I just can't talk about, and that's what's so unfortunate. But I am working to get people like sponsorships and whatnot. So yeah, I know. And I think that like that is my prime goal right now. And so I'm working very hard in the Lorcana space to get people out there and amplify their voices. Long story short, have I rambled long enough?
It's a great answer. You are one of our favorite people in the community. You're in so many different spaces and places, and I really appreciate what you do as a judge. It's a huge deal, and I appreciate you making judges and judging accessible and approachable, and I don't know, I love it. So,
oh man, big goals, right? Yeah. See me judging at Disneyland and Disney World.
Yep.
Big goals like that would be yes please. If I'm putting anything on the docket for wishful thinking, like, oof, I feel like I feel like I do a good job. So
you do a fantastic job. Anyway, for anybody watching Lore Library podcast, it'll be in the show notes. I'm trying to copy it to Twitter. So if you're watching on Twitter, just go to YouTube and get the link, or look at the show notes later. Or go follow Sarah on Instagram or Twitter, any of this post, it'll be there. But we need to get our final segment. We are almost done. Sarah, how do you feel about trivia?
I love trivia.
Oh, well, it's great because you're about to be inundated in it. It's time for our recurring trivia segment. Carolyn, hey.
Hello.
Carolyn is our quizmaster here at the Illumiteers, and also one of the admins in our Discord server. We host trivia games every single week, and every day almost on the Discord server. So yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah,
I'm excited for trivia this week.
I'm excited. We just started a new month, so every month in the Illumiteers Discord server, we aggregate all the points from all the games throughout the month, and we have a winner that will eventually get one of these beautiful pins that are being produced, which is very exciting.
Love it.
Don't know which medal yet.
Our winner for August was Hamgok17. So we've had a new winner every month so far. Chappie, Holly Lorcana, now Ham. So if you think that you could try your hand at some trivia, make sure you hop into the Illumiteer Station Discord. holler at me so you can get the trivia player role so that you can get the pings whenever we play games every day.
Yeah, and there's some. I see RMB has been in the chat here all night. Regular player there. So
Yeah.
shout
I was literally
Um,
gonna say I'm shocked he has not won yet. Like literally shocked.
I
Yeah.
have been doing no such thing,
out.
sir.
I'm docking his points for being bald.
No such thing, sir.
Yeah. So there's another way to win. You can come and compete on the show. We give out like one per week, and then I sometimes forget. So if you're owed one, I'm trying to write them down, but got a lot going on. But Sarah, we didn't want you competing by yourself this week, so we've brought you some help
A surprise
Yay.
guest.
if you're willing.
Okay.
Yay!
Awesome. Is that
Tim, is
Eeyore?
this your first
Are
time
you
on
wearing
the
Eeyore?
stream?
Yes, it is.
We need to do like an actual like full show with you. Another one of our favorite creators. Thank you so much for being here. This is so fun.
Yeah, of course.
Like all my heroes all in one place.
I'm flattered.
All right. Well, you two are going to compete. You 5 questions usually. I usually say you have to get 4 right to win, and then only one of you can win a pin. So the other one, if you haven't won one yet, will have to come back and compete again.
I'll trade you for a pin,
And
Tim,
that's
if
the
you win.
rules. And I won't say that chat play along with us. Sometimes you're a lifeline. So yeah, I'm excited to see how everyone does. Carolyn, what do you have for this week?
All right. So this week is a little bit of a grab bag. I tried to theme it some around questions for Sarah because we weren't exactly sure who Sarah's lifeline was going to be tonight. So very excited that Kim is here, and I think there will be some in here that she is also familiar with.
We did co-author a guide together, so this is pretty apt.
Yes.
That is true.
Yes.
I was gonna say we've talked about work that all of us are doing tonight, so pretty stoked about that. All right, first question. Name an Oscar-winning Disney song that does not yet have a Lorcana card.
You'll Be in My
Ooh.
Heart, Phil Collins.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh wow.
great, right off the bat. Let's go.
Instantly. Tarzan.
I'm
No
not gonna
Tarzan
get the
cards.
pin then. Sarah's too on top of it.
Maybe.
Aw, so sad for you.
It's not a competition. It is co-op.
Is that the only one?
Oh
Okay,
no, there
I
are
pulled an
lots.
Enchanted
Oh.
earlier today. I'm fine.
Which one?
Living up to her name.
Yeah.
No, I pulled another Enchanted today. I haven't posted in L2L.
What? What?
Which one?
Oh.
I hate you. I have 0 so far. She's got like what? Now this is 5.
In the last
4?
like 2 weeks.
No, 5. Yeah, 5 now.
Yeah.
From Shimmering Skies?
Yeah, from Shimmering Skies.
Oh man. The Enchanted I have 0 from Shimmering Skies.
Same.
This is the thing. You need to add Enchanted to your username, and you just become a magnet for Enchanted.
Apparently.
That's what I'm doing wrong. Clearly.
Moving on.
All right.
Oh,
Right.
man.
Question number 2. Sarah has Oswald as her ride along co-host today. Who is Oswald's girlfriend?
Oh my gosh.
Hortensia.
Yes.
Hortensia.
Hortensia.
See, yeah, I was going to say Hortensia.
I thought I was good at trivia until we have, some people on, and then I just realized how bad I am.
I'm like, I know.
All right.
Oh, goodness.
Now, Steel Song has been Kim's deck for a while, and Sarah has just picked it up. This newest set features a great new tool for Steel Song, Naveen. What
Mhm.
instrument does Naveen play?
Ukulele?
Very good. Helps that his enchanted art.
Yeah.
Liam was just like, I'm just gonna hang out. I'm cool.
Wow. It's like string instrument.
Frog.
Frog.
Okay, here's
Gumbo.
part 2 of that question. What country is he the prince of?
Maldonia.
I'm so impressed.
Oh. How does Sarah know? all of
She's
these?
soloing these. I'm so impressed. All right,
Doesn't even need
here's
to think. She just knows.
all right. Question number 4. Sarah's beloved Sapphire Steel deck, although she's put it down for the moment, features
Amber Steel.
Tamatoa, who's voiced by Jermaine Clement. He is from what musical comedy duo?
I don't know.
This I know.
I can literally picture both of them in my mind. Gosh darn it.
No. Tag Liam in if you need it. That's why this is co-op.
Okay, Leah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it in the chat. Come on, Liam.
Liam.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Flight of the Conchords.
It so is.
Okay.
Which,
I'm
Which
not
is-
participating in this hug.
yeah. What's the name? Oh my gosh. What's the name of the actress also that's in there that's now like a huge voice actress that's in everything? And she was like their super fan, remember? And that's like where she
Yes.
got her big break.
Yes.
I love that
can't
show so
remember her
much.
name, but when I
So
see her,
good.
I immediately all I think of is Flight of the Conchords.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I have to look this up because I don't know who that is. I only know the two of them.
Oh my gosh.
Chat will tell
She
us.
plays the voice of literally everything. She's a character actor for everything. So much so that I was
Oh,
blanking.
Kristen Shaw.
No.
Bob's.
Sure.
She's on Bob's Burgers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Luis. Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's a
She's done
funny
a lot
show.
of Disney
It's
stuff too.
so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. She's like a lot. So yeah, I was like, what is happening that I can't remember? But yeah.
All right, last question. So Disney has done a good job of featuring lots of character cards in Lorcana on their good luck charm. Alan Tudyk, who's voiced like the Duke of Wesselton, Duke Weaselton, Tuk Tuk, etc. With Pixar coming to the game next year, who is their good luck charm?
Oh, I know those.
John Ratzenberger?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one who's like in all of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
It's hilarious that you bring up Alan right now. He was in a movie, or no, a TV show about that he was like an alien or whatever.
Yeah. What is it called?
So I
I'm not
live
gonna
in
remember, but I've seen it. Yeah.
in my hometown, in my like little downtown. I have, because Dark Horse Comics is here.
Mm.
And so the creator of Dark Horse Comics was actually on that show, like doing a little thing about his haunted situation of like growing up and seeing a UFO and all this stuff. Yeah, so it's wild. So Eli was just walking around downtown Milwaukee doing a
on the
paranormal
side.
pack rip in front of the
Incredible.
Dark Horse Comics.
Amazing.
Such a good
And he was like,
live. I
tell me
loved
again
it.
who Alan, like we were doing a rundown of everybody that he was voicing so he could like mention that.
Yeah.
Which Liam, I don't know if you're apprised of this information. My partner does on Instagram something called paranormal pack rips. Are you familiar?
No.
Okay,
so
so
good.
paranormal.
So
Right
good.
now.
Are you aware of the myth behind opening car packs and that there's like car pack
Yes.
magic? Okay. So their theory is that it's where the car is parked and that there is some sort of paranormal activity happening at the location. It's not the opening it in the car, it's actually where your opening is. So they are trying to ascertain where those magical places are by going to places where there is paranormal activity and opening packs there to try to harness some enchantments. So
Whereas
I
Liam and Aaron, their
love
theory
this.
is that it's the packs you open in the car, which is typically from like a hanger pack, like at a Target or a Best Buy or what have you, rather than, a pack from a box like you would get at your LGS. And so they were able to get a case of these hanger packs
Yeah.
and looked at the pull rates in that case. That's a great video. I highly recommend it.
I love that video because I am such a nerd about like pool rates. So yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I don't know if we'll do it again. But
I think
good
you
one.
just need enchanted in your name to get enchanted.
That's
stuff.
all you need.
I mean, that's clearly all you
gonna-
need.
if I can change, how do I change my Twitter handle without losing my enchanted Illumiteers?
You have a check, so I'm pretty sure you're allowed to do it whenever you want.
Yeah.
Whenever you want. X gave you
Enchanted
gave you the
Illumiteers.
power. You
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I do like the ley line theory. I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
Find like the luck ley line and park your car there, and then
Yeah. that's part of what he's doing. It's wild.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah.
We'll also. I have so much to do after these shows.
So
I'll
much
also add that to
Lorcana
that
homework.
if I can. Yeah, it is true. I get done. I have to do all these notes, and that was crazy. But I won't keep everybody too long. I do want to shout out the guide that Kim, you, and Sarah did. Like, after the last DLC, I saw so many comments from people saying, "Hey, this guide helped me so much." So
Yeah.
I'll try to link that in the show notes as well.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
It-
I before the set championship for the Stitch set championship, I had a lot of anxiety behind, like, it was the first time I had done something competitive at that level, and just like listening to the Citizens of Lorcana podcast that they had Bivens on there talking about how to prep and like how to get ready, and it really did like put me in the correct mindset and just like made me feel prepared, and like it just did better that way. And so just knowing like folks are out there looking for that kind of a resource, and to Kim and I were both on the same track of like, how do we put people's minds at ease, me
Right.
being a judge, she being someone who is a competitor, to try to look at like these are people who've been to these events, you know, boots on the ground. Here's what we have to like report back. And especially like being a judge, I know like judges seem unapproachable and seem scary, but in this realm, in the Disney Lorcana Challenge, judges are there as a customer service role to help you facilitate the game in a fair and, you know, great manner for everybody, fair across the board, and make sure everything goes by the book. And then that way we all know that the best came out on top. And so don't be afraid, you know. And that was part of in the guide of like mentioning in there, like, hey, like judges are there to help you, and like always look out for us. And especially if things are going poorly for you and you're in on the off chance that you have an opponent that's not treating you fairly, like always, judges will advocate for you. There's a lot of folks that on the professional teams out there that have vocalized that they will be an advocate and help you through that process, you know. So I think like having that guide just saved to your phone is key, like while you're at the DLC, to like be able to pull it up.
I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Good
having, I think somebody asked a really good question earlier. I think it was Steven asked a good question earlier about how do we keep Lorcana this like positive environment where sharking is so low, where like generally that is not the accepted normal attitude. And I think the best thing for us to do is to keep amplifying people like Din, like R&B, like Kendall, who have these attitudes of wanting to better the community, wanting to keep Lorcana a positive place. Because if that's the attitudes at the top levels of this game, that's going to trickle down to all levels of this game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It-
I think looking at like doing the podcast, recording the podcast, and having Humble on as a guest, and he was like, "Hey, like anybody, if you see a Labyrinth jersey, you can approach us for, you know, help if you need help in a situation, and we will advocate for you." And I think that that's huge, having these teams that are out there that are willing to say, "Hey, people who are new to this, people who are marginalized genders, people who are in the LGBTQ plus community can always come up to us, and we are here to make this not toxic and make it a community experience," I think is so key. So everyone that can speak up and be like, I am an advocate for you, is huge for the people like us, like myself, that are like maybe apprehensive about seeking out that help, and like, oh, I'm just in amongst a bunch of sweaty Yu-Gi-Oh players that just transitioned to a new game. I think is not the case. We're having
Right.
people that are in this space that are like willing to create a new space because they are wanting to step away from those kind of environments.
Right. And if I can add on to it too, just, you know, to plug Love to Lore, but I've said it like multiple times already, where being part of that Discord server where it's a lot of people who Lorcana is their first TCG, like going to Fort Worth, that was my first time ever going to a big event like that, a big like competitive tournament. And it was really nice that because of that server, I was able to meet with people who were also there. They're also like, yeah, I don't really know anyone else here. And it gave me reassurance that I at least like had other people who also were just like, we're all new here and we can talk to each other in between rounds and support each other. Or like I talked to Missy Enchanted / Melissa, and she's gone to like all the DLCs. And, you know, she was a really great person too, that she's like, oh, you know, like we know each other from Love to Lore, and like I can help you out in between rounds to just like calm down and like direct you, like help direct you. And so that was part of too, like why the DLC guide was so important to create, was that, I had so much anxiety going to my first ever DLC, and I'm sure other people have so much anxiety going to their first one, whether it's Vegas or Seattle or, whatever happens next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
and
excited for the
and we've
quest.
also to circle back again to Sarah talking about Team Labyrinth. Several of them have very generously donated their time to the Love to Lore community this week to coach all of our players who are going to Vegas and Birmingham, who are able to make the sessions, to make sure that Judy, our one woman who has qualified to Continentals, to make sure that Judy is not by herself. That was how RMB put it to me. He was like, we gotta get more of y'all in there because we need to see that representation at the highest levels of this game. And I was like, deal, dude. Let's make it happen. So we had a Steel Song session on Sunday. We had a Blurple and Ruby Amethyst session on Monday, and we're gonna have kind of an open office hours for other rogue decks. This I think next week, and I think he and Humble are gonna tag team it up. So they're pretty fantastic guys, and I'm really glad to be playing a game where that's the attitude of the top players in the highest levels of play, like where they are not just positive, but they're advocating for folks like me.
Yeah, I think they really recognize that when there's barriers to competing, like there's things that they can do to kind of break those barriers down along with us and not make that a fight that we're doing on our own. And I think that that's huge. Any of the players that want to do that is great. We've had teams that have competed in the DLC and that's not their vibe. And that's not how they came. And that's unfortunate. And I hope that that team has some introspective work done in terms of like maybe trying to turn around, because I'm not excited for some there. I hate to say it. There is some teams right now in the sphere that are not performing at their best character wise. So to see the folks that are is really, really, really great. And I just want to amplify those folks as much as possible is what I try to do.
Yeah. 100% agree.
Team Lab and I'm gonna shout out Team Snuggly Duckling and Lorcana because I see them everywhere and I love their vibe. Snuggly Duckling from Louisiana, they're awesome. No, I completely get everything everybody's saying, and I don't know, amplifying the right voices and the right people who we want other people to look up to and who are setting the right tone, I think is super important. So the more content we have out there that's doing that, like Sarah, like the podcast you have bringing on those guests, I think is just awesome. So anyway, speaking of that, hydrating. But we do need to wrap. It is hitting 2 hours, and we all have stuff to do. So I do want to go around the horn and everybody's closing thoughts and say goodbye. Before I do, thank you all for joining us on a Wednesday night. Anybody who's still watching, I appreciate it. We'll be back Monday night next week, unless something crazy happens. And thank you all for joining us. I will have links for all of our guests and our Discord server, everything else in the show notes when I get to it this evening. So you can find it there later. And if you're here for the first time and watching on a platform that's not YouTube, we're at 3,997 subscribers. So you could be one of the 3 that hits us at that 4K mark, which I'm super excited about. I don't know why. I like round numbers.
Yeah, no, that's a good,
cool.
that's an amazing milestone. Like, congratulations. Yeah.
Our goal is 5,000 by year's end, and I don't think we're gonna get there, but 4 is cool. I never thought that we'd get to 4, so that's really neat.
I think every DLC it'll get more, and I think you're gonna hit that 5,000.
Maybe one day. I appreciate that, but a lot of great people in the space. So, so I'm going to go around. Kim, thanks so much for joining us here for the very end. And I can't let's have you back to do like solo trivia or just as a guest for the whole show. If you're ever interested in co-hosting too, let us know.
I have my princess parties happening at the end of September, so I could do a recap on that pretty soon.
Yes.
This is your golden ticket, Ala. So you think you can dance? Please come back. You're invited to Hollywood.
Yay!
Lots of pictures and videos.
I did it.
You get the rose.
Yeah, we'll Yes. All right. Remind me. We'll do that. I'm excited for that. But thanks so much, and thanks for all the content you make. People definitely should follow you on Instagram at Enchanted Kim. Wonderful content. So thank you for everything. Any closing thoughts? You were in the green room for most of the episode.
I just really appreciate how the community is so open to sharing their knowledge. Like I can even say from just last week, I've gotten so much help from Team Labyrinth. I've gotten help from Rachel, who made top 64 in Toronto. I've gotten help from Martin Lorcana in just like the last 2 weeks to like really define my Amber Steel song deck. And like I finally, in the last 2 weeks, have like gotten first at tournaments, which is like a really big deal for me. So it's just like amazing to see that the community isn't so closed off onto like holding on to all their information, and instead are like, we want to help other people do their best and succeed.
I love it.
Yeah.
You all are such wonderful ambassadors for the community. Like I don't know. It makes me happy. Carolyn, thanks again for another bit of trivia here. We plugged everybody else's socials, but we didn't plug yours yet. Where can people follow you?
I'm in the same place as always. You can find me at Lorcana Bell on Twitter, at Lorcana.bell on Instagram. I'm always in the Love to Lore and Illumiteer Discords as well. I have literally nothing better to do with my time. So please come chat, come play my games, come talk to me, come maybe do some playtesting with me, because I finally have a deck that I'm playing again, and I got to play it. Shout out to Breezy. I think he rated your stream on Twitch.
Oh, did he? Oh,
I think that was
Oh,
what
yeah.
you posted from him earlier.
Oh dear. Oh, Breezy, thanks so much.
Appreciate you, bud. I played Impact on Lorcana After Dark last night, and I won. So I know, right? Me, not a competitive player at all. Actually, like playing on stream and winning with my double feature deck, nonetheless. So
Okay, I was gonna ask you.
Very
Yeah.
excited about that.
I was at League, so I missed it.
You go back and watch it.
Pin. Yes, I will.
You win that pin.
Yeah, that's what I'm there for.
But Sarah, and for you, thanks for hanging out for the whole stream. This was a marathon. It was so fun having you here again.
Yeah, I love it. I can't get enough. I'm always down. So
I will take you up on that more often than you realize. So thanks for
if you let him, he will have you here every week. I speak from experience.
Don't tempt me. I love to talk about Lorcana. So
well, yeah, we'll have you back anytime. And you've already hit the 5 appearance mark. I think you're well on your way to 10. I think there's very few people who've been here more. So, and again,
we need a punch card.
Yeah, that's true. Stephen Gettle is our official stats keeper.
Get a submarine sandwich at the end.
He's always here in the
Yay.
Spreadsheets
anyway, are being made.
And he said tonight, Dinh Hang Pham was our 125th unique guest.
Oh wow,
which is fantastic.
That's wild.
For a year of Lorcana content, that's pretty impressive, Liam.
Lots of milestones. Yeah, look at you. I love it. I love it.
Well, thanks so much, and thanks again, and everybody. We in the show notes, check out Lore Library.
Yes, the Lore Library.
It's a great time. I can't wait to be on again.
Yes.
Well, you all are awesome, and with that, I could